Always got my eye on the courtroom, and you know what? When something important happens there, I tweet it here. So make sure you're following me on Twitter. The address is simple. It's just my name. Follow me at Vinnie Politan.
As far as a diagnosis of addiction, Dr. Waldman, you would not, you would not be comfortable as a medical doctor diagnosing Michael Jackson as addicted based strictly on reading these pieces of paper in my hand. Is that a fair statement?
I would be highly suspicious.
Okay. You would not be comfortable diagnosing Michael Jackson as addicted to Demerol based strictly on these documents in my hand, correct?
You know, I would make a presumptive diagnosis, but as I would in any other patient who presented me data and for any other circumstance, but I would look for more evidence to prove or disprove that theory.
Would you diagnose Michael Jackson as addicted to Demerol based strictly on these documents?
I would diagnose him as physically dependent, and because the initial doses were high for somebody who may or may not have been opioid naive, it raises the specter and question of prior opioid use.
Let me try again. Dr. Waldman, would you diagnose Michael Jackson as addicted to Demerol based strictly on these documents in my hand, yes or no?
Probably not.
Prosecutor David Walgren going after the defense's addiction expert, but it did work. Walgren got the expert to admit that he could not diagnose Michael Jackson as an addict. Let's go outside the courthouse now. Jane Velez-Mitchell joins us live. Jane, I'm hearing rumors all the way on this side of the country that Paris Hilton might be heading to court today?
Yes, that's exactly what we're hearing too. Unconfirmed reports, and I can tell you the energy level is getting more frenetic here outside court. I don't know if you can get a sense the crowd is building as we barrel toward the conclusion of this case. And yes, everything from propofol lollipops to Paris Hilton now in the mix. We're hearing these unconfirmed reports that any minute now, any second now, Paris Hilton, the celebutante, and or her mother and father, Kathy and Rick, may be showing up here. Kathy Hilton knew Michael Jackson. They grew up going to the same high school, according to published reports. And, of course, Paris Hilton shares the same name with Paris Jackson. I don't know if there's a connection there. There's been some speculation, but we don't have any hard information that there's any nexus there. However, we are hearing numerous reports that Paris and or her mogul parents could be showing up any moment. So a lot of stuff happening here. It's just a different energy, and I think there is a sense that this case is coming toward its conclusion.
Alan Duke is inside the courthouse. Alan, CNN entertainment producer. Alan, how about the prospect? And I've been saying this from the beginning, you know, where are the Hollywood friends of the Jacksons, of Michael Jackson? Well, today could be one showing up.
Well, you know, of course, Kathy Hilton, I know for a fact, she was a childhood friend of Michael Jackson's. By the way, she wasn't Kathy Hilton then. She was basically, she didn't become a Hilton until she married Rick Hilton. As far as Paris Hilton coming, why would she do that? I mean, I know the reality show ratings for her last show were not very good. Is she trying to now attach herself to Vinnie Politan and help her ratings? I think that might be a theory. That
it very well could be, although, yeah, that's interesting. Let's go to Ted Rollins, who's also outside the courthouse. Ted, as we wait here, perhaps for the arrival of the Hiltons with the Jacksons, that would create a much different dynamic inside that courtroom, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and I can tell you the jurors definitely, when they walk in every day, they check to see who's there in that second row where the Jackson family sits. In fact, when Janet was gone and she came back, jurors walked in and they noticed that Janet was there, and she makes a big difference. I don't know, the Paris Hilton, if she's in there, I think it would be a distraction because there's no clear connection, at least you wouldn't think, for the jurors. But when the Jackson family is there in force, it makes a huge difference, I think, because the jurors are very attuned, and when something dramatic happens, they look at the prosecutor, the witness, the defense, and then they look at the Jacksons for reaction. So anything different, too, in the courtroom, these jurors notice in a heartbeat.
All right, let's go back to Jane Velez-Mitchell, also outside the courtroom. You can watch Jane every night from 7 p.m. on Issues. Jane, I want to stick with you outside there because, to me, this is what I expected a little bit more of during this trial. Michael Jackson had a lot of friends. He did a lot of projects with different people. Many people in Hollywood were inspired by Michael Jackson, yet we haven't seen them show up here to support the family and to help seek justice for Michael Jackson.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a very valid question. Where are all those people? For example, Macaulay Culkin, right? The Home Alone star. He was a very, very close friend of Michael Jackson's and has long been a defender. There's a whole list of people like that. You have to wonder where they are, and do they just want to stay out of the limelight because this is a case that, like all these mega cases, you don't know what the impact will be. You don't know what the repercussions will be. You don't know what's going to be revealed in court. Take a look at yesterday with the revelations of the Demerol that was administered to Michael Jackson at Dr. Arnie Klein's office. That was a shocker to many people, and it caused a lot of debate. So I think that there may be a sense that people would rather, who are in the limelight, would rather stay away because of the volatility. And, oh, hold on, behind me, there they are coming. Why are you here today, sir? Why are you
to support the Jacksons.
I invited you. I love you. Thank you so much. What is your message today? Kathy, what's your message?
We're here for Michael and the family, and we love all the support for the family and the children and Michael.
You grew up with him. You know him as a genius, and what else? How would you describe him in a word or two?
The kindest, most honorable, sweet, generous,
and misunderstood.
A lot of questions need to be answered.
Yeah. But thank you. LaToya and I were talking about you the other night.
Thank you.
Love to hear you.
I said I hate the Marriott.
We love you. We love you.
I still think they're both guilty.
All right, there you go. The Hiltons coming in. So it wasn't just an unconfirmed rumor. They walked in. They're here to support Michael Jackson's family and the Jackson legacy. And again, so many people had personal one-on-one experience with Michael Jackson. Say he was a loving, kind, gentle. And I added the word misunderstood because I think that's what a lot of them feel. Back to you, Vinny.
Thanks so much, Jane. Let me go to Alan Duke quickly inside the courthouse. Alan, you were off a little bit. Not here, have anything to do with me. It was Jane Velez-Mitchell that LaToya and Kathy Hilton have been watching and discussing.
Well, and that is certainly, I mean, Jane is a legend, and I think that is probably exactly why they're here today.
All right, Alan Duke inside the courthouse. Over the past several weeks, we've seen many dramatic confrontations in the courtroom. Will there be another one today? Stay tuned to HLN Special Report.
Referring to XXX, Dr. Schaefer, is this an itemization of 36 studies that you've done that deal with propofol?
I'm Dr. White.
I mean, Dr. White, excuse me.
Dr. White, Dr. Schaefer's a good friend, and he actually helped me on one of the papers.
This paper, what does it involve, Dr. Schaefer? Or Dr. I'm sorry, Dr. White.
I think I'm going to put a name tag. I approached the company in 1997 about exploring this possibility.
87?
87. I'm sorry. I'm having trouble with
That's okay.
All right, let's go right out to Jane Velez-Mitchell. We've got someone else arriving. Who's showing up, Jane?
Randy and Janet, you see that car taking off right there? That Mercedes-Benz just delivered Randy and Janet to the courthouse. I did try to ask them about the testimony regarding Dr. Arnie Klein, and Randy said basically wordlessly no, and they both just very quickly went into court. And of course, just a couple of minutes earlier, we had the Hiltons, minus Paris, but the parents of Paris Hilton going into court. So we're seeing a lot of activity here, and of course the fans fans and the noise. It's all happening.
All right, thanks, Jan. And we just saw Janet going into the courtroom. I want to turn to Alan Duke, CNN producer. Alan, I want to switch from the Janet arrival to what we heard there, which was the defense attorney, Michael Flanagan, getting his own expert's name wrong and referring to him by the prosecution's expert's name. And it happened more than once.
And this is, now, Michael Flanagan and Dr. Paul White have basically been tied at the hip for the last several weeks. And in fact, I just saw them together a few minutes ago. How could he do that? Well, that's because of the presence of Dr. Schaefer in that courtroom. Even he spent basically over an 11-day span of the trial, he was the witness on the stand testifying. We had a lot of those days off. But Dr. White is so tied to him that even Flanagan can't get the name out. And the judge flubbed it a couple of times, but it gave Schaefer an opportunity to make the point that he is friends and closely associated with Dr. Schaefer, and I think that's...
You know what just happened, Alan? You just called him Dr. Schaefer too. This let me go to Steve Greenberg, and it's happening all over this courtroom, Steve. Is this good for the prosecution, or is it an opportunity for the defense to align themselves with Dr. Schaefer? Well, this is bizarro.
See, now I'm going to call you Jane, right?
Yeah.
It is...
Me, Vinnie, Jane.
The problem... Yeah. The problem they have here, you know, calling him the wrong name is not really a major problem because the witness himself is saying he's close with Dr. Schaefer, Dr. White, Dr. Schaefer. They're sort of, Dr. White at least and the defense are trying to portray them as very similar and just a little bit divergent on their opinions. The problem is that when you get past all of the questioning, the answers are still troubling. And what is, you know, as I sit here as a defense lawyer, I say, what is my theory of defense? And I don't know what that is from Dr. White.
All right, well, maybe we'll find out today. You know, Demerol was just one of the drugs that was given to Michael Jackson, but was he addicted? We'll talk about that.